Hello, welcome to my page, and I'm really glad and I'm excited doing this video because I want to give credit first to Evolve Academy. And Evolve Academy has been an academy that has truly transformed my life and has helped me build consistency in my life. And I know one of the things I struggled with before joining Evolve Academy is consistency, the ability to follow through on a particular task, or tasks, not just one task. I just found out that there's this joy that I have before a task, and I give my best to it, and I get to a certain point, I just lose that joy, I lose that feeling, and I just leave that task. And I felt, as a successful person that I desire to be, or a great person that I desire to be, I can't keep living my life like this. I need an urgent change. I can't be doing things and halfway I'm moving on to another thing. I will never be great. I can't keep pending things in my life. And one of the things that involved made us do is read a book every week, because they said leaders are readers. And you are not just going to read that book, you have to review and submit that night. Every day, you mustn't go to bed without submitting your review, no matter how busy your day is. When I first said, how will I do this? But I will tell you, one of the first books that we read, which I just want to share a bit of the learnings that has really helped me from it, is a book written by the lead coach herself, Dr. Arifalo, Self-Discipline. Wow, that book was amazing. That book was a game changer for me. That book helped me break through that inconsistency that I have been struggling with, and procrastination. Because one of the things she actually said in that book about self-discipline is that self-discipline is doing what you need to do when you need to do it, irrespective of how you feel. That was like an eureka moment for me, like wow, because I realized that a lot of the things that I was spending in my life was because of how I felt. I felt I didn't have that joy anymore. I felt I've lost the joy. The drive to continue was no longer there. But that definition, wow, so you have to still continue. Sorry, my name is Enita Ajayi, and thank you for joining me on my page. And I said I have to continue irrespective of how I felt. And that changed it all for me. And the first thing I did was I set a particular goal for myself. It wasn't a big goal, it was a short-term goal. And I said, irrespective of how I felt, I was going to get through to the end. And I did, just by that definition. And another definition she gave me is the ability to control yourself and make yourself work hard or behave in a particular way without needing outer motivation. Most times we rely on outer motivations to do amazing things in our lives. But I've discovered that outer motivation doesn't always come. Your environment at times doesn't even believe in what you are doing. How do they motivate you? There is a need for an inner motivation, a motivation that comes from your inside. And that changed it for me, that I need to control myself. Wow. And that's where self-discipline comes in. Self-discipline basically is about you controlling yourself to make yourself work hard or behave in a particular way without needing outer motivation. And said is the ability to push forward, ability to motivate yourself and take action regardless of how you feel physically and emotionally. And that was really true. We need to take action. We need to do something. You have decided to do a thing, you need to do it to the end, regardless of how you feel, because your feelings will betray you. My feelings have betrayed me so many times. I have learned now that my feelings will never be a determining factor in whatever I want to do, and that has shifted the needle for me. And another thing she said is not paying attention to your emotions and physical states, because if we do, you will stop, as I've stopped severally in many years of my life. It's not paying attention to your emotions, your physical states, but focusing on what must be done to achieve your goals and objectives. And that is what is important, and that is what will make you a great achiever. And there's one subheading that really blew my mind. I love that subheading so much. She said, quit making excuse and start making progress. Because the truth is, the two cannot sail together on the same boat. That boat will collapse because the two can't go together. You need to quit making excuses and start making progress. And one of the things she said in that book was, the world is full of people who make excuses. And it's true, you will agree with me. I was also such an individual, and most of the time to me those excuses were legit, and they were enough reason not to do something, not to take on a task. the excuses was enough reason why some things should not happen in my life. And I just saw that it plagued me. And I love something she said one time, that I was listening to one of her videos also in Evolve Academy, where she said that there is nothing called stagnancy, that a lot of the stagnancy that we experience in life is a retrogression, which is you moving backward. Most times we find out that if we are not making progress, we are stagnant, retrogressing in our lives or in that area which we have refused to quit excuse and start making progress. And she said excuses, a lot of us believe in our excuses, and because we believe in our excuses, we are limited by our self-limiting thoughts and beliefs about ourselves, about lives, and about our circumstances. I knew one of the assignment they gave us in Evolve Academy. I was like, I can't do this. I started giving myself excuses why I can't do this. And the truth is, the excuse were valid. The excuse was legit. And my mentor, she heard it, she will pity me. But I had to tell myself, girl, you invested this amount of money in yourself to become better. You didn't pay to come and enable your excuses. You didn't pay to come and enable your laziness and indiscipline. You have to do this, irrespective of how valid and legit that excuse was. And that changed it for me. And I will tell you, I'm zero tolerance to excuses now. And I get irritated when I find myself around people that make excuses, because somehow I see that if you keep tolerating excuses around you, it has a way of rubbing on you. And before you know it, instead of you getting things done, you see yourself making excuses that are really not legit on you. You see yourself making excuses up and downs. For me, how I wish my parents was rich and they sent me to Harvard. Because I didn't go to Harvard, that's why I can't speak good English. Because I didn't go to Harvard, that is why I am not in this certain position in life. That's not true. Those are just excuses that are not what valid. She said we all have excuses as humans, both the successful and the unsuccessful. But the successful does not allow their reasons hinder them. This happens to us all. Every one of us, both the successful and the unsuccessful, we all have excuses. But the only difference is that one has not allowed his reasons to hinder him, while the other has allowed her reasons or his reasons to amputate her in life. And because of that, she doesn't go beyond a certain level. She said the successful has chose, I love that word, chose not to allow those reasons to hinder them. Your reasons must never be strong enough to become stumbling blocks that hinders you. And do you know, this really happened to me. I think sometimes last week or 2 weeks ago, I was very ill. I told you in Evolve Academy, we have a book that we read and we must submit a review every day. My head was nagging, my eyes was heavy, I was feeling pains all over my body, and this was just about after 11. And like, girl, you have not read your book, you have not submitted your review. And I had made up my mind. One of my goals when I started the program was I was not going to miss anything. I don't care what happens to me, whether I'm under the weather or not, I must submit my reviews. And I got to it. I picked up my iPad, I started reading it. I was feeling tired. The more I was reading, the more tired I was. The more I was reading, the more the pain was. But I said, no, I've made up my mind. My feeling is not going to rule in this case. I'm going to rule over my feelings. Of the story is, I did it, irrespective of how I felt. And I was so happy with myself. Your reasons must never be strong enough to hinder you. When reasons become validated and established, then it becomes an excuse we make. Really, I was sick is valid, is established. But she said the moment we allow it, it becomes an excuse we make. And there's one thing she said excuses are made. That changed my mind. Excuses are made. The one that makes the excuse, you could decide not to make this. Ask yourself, are there people under the same circumstance that rose up to do what you would like to do? And that was one of the things that helped me. I was like, could there be other people also in my own position right now that are also not feeling well, but they are still grinding, they are still reading their book, they are still submitting their review? And I said yes. And that was one of the motivating factors that made me say, irrespective of how I feel, I was going to go on with it. The moment you quit making excuses, you start to make progress. Look at your life. Which area of your life looks stagnant? Which area of your life looks like you are retrogressing? Which area of your life looks like you are not making waves? Then you need to look at the excuses you have been making in those areas and quit them so that you could start making progress. They said something that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Why self-discipline? Why do we think self-discipline is important? And I love what she said in the book. She said, most people don't know what it takes to succeed in life or to be great. Every one of us desires to succeed. Every one of us desires to be great. But we don't know what it takes. It takes a lot of commitment to be able to see the possibilities within, to unlock your inner resources and release your hidden potential. It takes a lot of commitment, and you must see it, believe it before you can harness it. I say, wow, I must see it, I must believe it before I start harnessing it. And she said something in that book that you must see possibilities and potentials in everything to be able to get the strength to run when you would rather lie down and quit. And that was true. If you don't see possibility in yourselves, if you don't see potential in yourself, if you don't see, the truth is, I'm the greatest product here. And that's why I'm investing in Evolve Academy, because I have seen the possibility that lies within me. I've seen the hidden potentials and hidden inner resource in me that I need someone to push me to be able to bring it out. If I have not seen it, I would not have invested in myself. And so I'm clapping for myself, and I'm really very glad that I invested in myself, because I'm seeing the dividend for my investment. A dividend doesn't just come in money, but dividend also come in the skills, the discipline, the giftings, and the harnessing of your potentials and your possibilities. If you don't see it, you can't have the strength to run. She said self-discipline gives you the power to plan effectively and to stick to your plans and follow through without changing course. And that was what I needed. I have been doing a lot of projects in my life, stopping halfway, not following through. And I was like, I had been praying, but I knew that there was just something I haven't discovered. There's just something that I'm not getting right. And I got it from this book, which is self-discipline. You see why we need self-discipline. If you are not self-disciplined, you can't follow through on anything. You can't stay effective on your plan. You can't stick to your plan effectively. You need self-discipline. Self-discipline is one most important requirement for achieving our set goals or achieving our set targets or goals. If you are not self-disciplined, you can't achieve your set targets or goals. And the practice of self-discipline leads to what? Self-confidence. And I was so excited when I heard that the practice of self-discipline over time leads to self-confidence, leads to self-esteem and inner strength. And beyond that, consequently leads to what? Happiness and satisfaction in life. Do you know, after I submitted that review that day, I was so excited with myself that so you could do this. I know before now I would have made excuse and I would not have submitted. And for the whole week I was really down. I would not have submitted anything for that week. But nobody knew that I was down. I was still submitting, and I was so happy and I was so satisfied with myself that, so I have set this goal, I can fully achieve it. So go back to your New Year goals. Go back to the goals that you set at the beginning of the year and just decide within yourself that I'm going to follow through. My feelings are not going to lead me. My feelings are not going to be the reason why I do stuff. When irrespective of how I feel physically and emotionally, I'm going to get these goals done. And I'm going to assure you that you be excited with yourself, because the truth is, the moment you hit that goal, it builds up your self-confidence, it builds up your self-esteem, and consequently you find yourself that you are excited, you are happy, and you are fulfilling life. So I would want to employ you, please go get the book. I can't share everything here because there are so many gems, precious gems that can truly change your life as it has changed my life. So go get it. Self-Discipline by Dotun Arifalo. It's really a great book. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for staying on with me. I really do appreciate this time that we have together, and look forward to more videos on my learning.